Your predecessor as vice president, and obviously the issue of 3 years Jotna came up, and the question was, how did we get there? And of course, your name came up. Do you need to clarify anything in respect?
Peter, this is an issue that I find difficult to talk about. I find it embarrassing. But I think it is better, however embarrassing it is to me, it is better to set the record straight.
Absolutely.
The narratives, proper narratives should be given. You see, I think she was right when she said, my husband, and that is right. She was my loyal wife until recently. She added the surname Tambanjang to Jallo because of me. In our tradition, I took the kola nut to the parents to get her married to my bosom friend, Mohamed H. Tambanjang, but we, all of us in Banza, all call him Mama Kali. That's what everybody calls him, Mama Kali Tambanjang. His first son, Usainu, Tinkame is not Carolina, it's named after me, was born in 1973. So that shows the extent of the love and bond between me and Mrs. Tambanjang's husband. You know, what she talked about the building the coalition, I don't want to get into that. But the matter that really embarrasses me, and which I'm concerned about, is her allegation that the Constitution was changed to suit me. Peter, in that very interview, see, this said that Honorable Halifa Sallah suggested that the age limit, the Constitution should be amended so that the age limit is taken care of, the term limit is taken care of, and the 50+1. And that was the coalition agenda. That was a coalition promise. How on earth can she really say that that amendment was done to favor me? If it was done to favor me, I could have loved President Barrow to appoint me, but she was the first beneficiary of that amendment.
But she insisted Barrow always wanted you to be vice president first.
But look, what would stop Barrow from appointing me if he was insisting?
Did Barrow ever offer you the vice president?
I have said that. He did. And I said, Mr. President, I'm sorry, I cannot take the position because I'm disqualified. He said, but how? Because the constitutional provisions that disqualifies me from contesting as a presidential candidate is the same provision that disqualifies me from being appointed as president.
But subsequently, the Constitution was changed.
That's what I'm saying. When the Constitution was changed, if it was for me, I would have been the one to be appointed. If it was made for me. But she was the beneficiary.
So when it was changed, you were already foreign minister?
I was foreign minister. I was foreign minister. So she is the first beneficiary of that amendment. And today, there are beneficiaries. At least, current vice president is a beneficiary. So to say that that was, for me, is most, deceitful. But you know, Peter, her ascendancy to the office of vice president, I had stood by her. I knew that she really wanted that position, that job. I knew that. And because of my relationship with her deceased husband, I stood by her. That this is my wife, I'm going to support her. People were ganging up against her.
Oh.
People had gone to the GRA to pull out her TIN number. And that TIN number showed 1949. People are ganged up against her.
Okay, to establish the fact that she was over the age.
She was over the age.
She couldn't be vice president.
She couldn't be vice president. But I told her that, look, we'll have to do, we'll have to work, and you'll be vice president.
Yeah, she explained that 1949 as against the 1953, which is her official.
Yes. But the 1949 is on the passport. It's not on that was the passport that carried on. But then, if that was done, really, years before she got into politics, why would the TIN number also carry the same? I think the TIN number should reflect, is it 53 or 54, whatever year?
53.
53. It should have reflected that. No? But okay. Now, one of the things that they tried to do at her behest was to propose an amendment to the Constitution without going through the constitutional procedures. You cannot amend. You cannot just take a bill to the National Assembly to amend the Constitution without the necessary publications. And when I learned of it, I rose to the President. I said, Mr. President, we are going to be embarrassed. And I don't even the Attorney General was consulted, because if the Attorney General was consulted, he would not allow a bill to amend the Constitution of the Gambia to go to the National Assembly without it being published as required by the Constitution. And so the Attorney General would not allow that. And I wrote to the President, Mr. President, we are going to be embarrassed. This bill that they're presenting must be withdrawn. Otherwise, you will have the greatest embarrassment. And I explained it. I said, but why? How could that happen? And he called Fadera, the Secretary General, and said, but SG, how could you do this? Why did you allow this to happen? And Fadera said, well, I thought we could do this and then later publish. I said, no. You published before the presentation in the National Assembly. President Adama Barrow, and hopefully he's listening to this. And she was the one who was rushing to the National Assembly to table that bill, which should have in fact been done by the Attorney General. And knowing that she really wants the job. And when she was to be sworn in as vice president, I was in the United States. And I appealed to His Excellency President Adama Barrow to ask him if he could really reschedule, because I want to be there, to be present as her swearing in. Because me being present at her swearing in as Vice President of the Gambia, for me it was Mama Kali, her husband, who was to be there to attend her swearing. And I also told her that I'm asking the President to reschedule your swearing so that I could be there. And when I came a day after, I told them I would.
And she had no problem with rescheduling?
She had no problem.
Okay.
But to show how much closer we were. Yeah. And when people were trying to block her appointment, I was with her to make sure that she got the appointment. In fact, at one point, I got frustrated. I told President, look, appoint her. And if anybody feels that her appointment is not in consonance with the Constitution, you can challenge it. I said, well, Mr. Darboe, let us just go through the parliamentary process that we are doing now, because we don't want to start going to court too early in the life of this government, which I think makes a lot of sense. Sure. For me, sometimes when I'm in a fighting mood, and I know the obstacles that people want to place before me, I fight back. And I was in that fighting mood. And he said, look, let us go through the parliamentary processes, which was done. And Peter, let me just. So I stood by her for her to be appointed as vice president. And we were working together closely. People will have problems with her, and they will call to me, tell your wife this, tell your wife that. In fact, there was an issue with Bailamin, and Bailamin came to me. I said, please, Wahala Sajabar, because he was trying to double in the affairs of the ministry, in matters related to the Gambia Ports Authority. And I talked to her. She wanted to be a prefect of all the ministers. And of course you can see that, look, my portfolio, what do you have to do with my portfolio?
Is that not a role they've